Hey there. So we're back to episode 5 in terms of focusing on from what does it mean moving from pipelines to products, right? Turning ML infrastructure into real business value. Pardon me with my little bit of voice. I think I've been just doing all the episodes, structured ways. So my throat is drying out. So that I'll do my best to keep it more hearable. So, yeah, this is another episode for modern systems to add a real impact. So, again, I think I've been asking you after every episode to just leave the comments and let me know if there's any other topic that you'd like to hear about or discuss about, or even if you want to come on to the podcast request to discuss about some of the pointers or any complex problems that you're facing. So, having said that, let's get started. What does it mean moving from pipelines to products, right? So, like you build the pipelines, you train the models, your vector DB is there and moving along, handling your data size, embedding size, and yet no one's using your AI feature, right? Why? So, in this episode, again, depends on the situation. I don't literally mean that no one is using a feature, but there are situations that, depending on your success metrics, how you're tracking, to what extent AI feature is used. So I break down the real gap between ML infrastructure and shipped AI products, right? So let's understand full stack AI product flow and share how to turn internal tooling into like an end user value for business aspect point of view. Again, most of these series that I'm building here is aligned with as a engineering leader or a founder of a startup idea or giant companies, individual contributors, technical leaders, the thought process that you can leverage and bring your thought process also in the comment section that we would like to understand how you have addressed these issues in the design concepts in your organizations, right? So the hidden gap. So ML AI infra teams often build powerful backend systems, right? Um, but what about, in short of product integration and all that? Like the common issues you might consider is there is no user feedback loop, um, and the poor productionization of models. Like maybe there's no guardrails or UX or context awareness involved there, right? Lack of infra abstraction for application teams to consume easily, right? So as a result, your internal complexity is growing with no measurable business outcome. Now, AI productionization or the productization patterns, right? Like some of the layers that we need to consider is the inference infrastructure layer, application integration layer, feedback evaluation layer. What does it mean, right? Inference infrastructure layer, like you have shared endpoints, REST or gRPC, then version control APIs, right, with rollout or rollback gates point of view, and load aware routing, circuit breakers, Redis caching in your infrastructure layer. Now, when it comes to application integration layer, depending on what kind of feature toggles you have and what kind of testing, like A/B testing, that you have introduced in terms of contextual understanding of their feature usage for different regional user aspect point of view, to add upon it. And then let's say payload adaptation, UX aware APIs, session level tracing, explain explainability hooks, and when it comes to feedback and evaluation layer, right? What kind of a click stream event logging that you have to going to Kafka. Then what kind of feedback processor for ranking any deltas, what kind of tagging mechanism, and model registry updates, right? And any kind of trigger services. So key point is every ML use case needs a product interface to close the loop, right? Now, let's understand in terms of more like a workflow point of view, if it helps you to understand the workflow. One second. So if you look at the flow that I'm showing here, let's say there's this API gateway plus the inference routing, right? The entry point for inference requests routed through istio to a load balancer, right? So then there's this load away routing going to model, um, depending on the versions with fallbacks. And then you have circuit breakers or retry mechanisms involved at the API gateway plus the inference routing point of view. So this is where your request routing is handled with the voluminous load based on what kind of load balancing logic you incorporate. And when things go wrong, you choose what kind of circuit breaker mechanisms or the retry logic you want to incorporate. Then UX integration layer, right? Your feature flag engine, right? That manages what kind of features that is getting exposed to each set of users, whether it's enterprise users or the small scale users. Depending on that, you enable your feature flag. Then US adapter converts your inference results into more like a front-end compatible structures, right? Um, and the client interaction, right, based on the trees ID and the session context injected into the UI, your feedback events, whether it's a clicks or any kind of flow stream to Kafka in order to manage your UX requests for flows that needs to be processed by consumers or backend services. Then there's a feedback flow from Kafka topic ingested by feedback process service, right? Signal stored finally from that processed Kafka request stored in, again, it's not the actual database, but you can choose the key value storage database, right, for the downstream training usage. Now, that again depends on the what kind of object you're handling in your data, right? So, then the signal thresholds push triggers to retaining orchestrator, right? Model performance dashboards, then routes updates to registry and the roles that forward. So patterns that work here, right? Productize AI the same way you productize APIs. Inference first, user informed, and outcome driven, right? Involve your product managers and designers earlier in your ML life cycles. So you can build AI as a feature with the product and no, not for it, right? So here, architecture feedback as a first class signal really will help instead of an afterthought. Make sure you include your architectures ahead of a time along with your product leaders. So, because the great ML infrastructure doesn't guarantee great AI products, but with the right productization architecture, feedback loops, and the team structure, you will definitely ship AI product that drive outcomes. Now, stay tuned for the next episode where we can discuss in terms of what it takes and or what it does it mean for building a multi-tenant AI systems or how to design scalable intelligence for many customers at once. So, having said that, again, don't forget to subscribe and leave your thought process in the comment section. Thank you.